For thousands of years, your ancestors survived by trusting a specific mental alarm system. If you saw a flicker in the brush, you ran. Your brain evolved to recognize immediate physical threats, not to calculate abstract statistical probabilities. That survival instinct is exactly why your brain completely misfires when it encounters a math problem designed to trick it. Imagine you're on a game show. The host offers you a choice of 3 closed doors. Behind one is a brand new car. Behind the other 2, goats. You pick a door. Let's look at the math on screen. The host, who knows what's behind every door, opens one of the ones you didn't pick to reveal a goat. He then asks if you want to switch your choice. The visual distribution shifts because the math dictates you should always switch. Your original door remains at a 1 in 3 chance of winning, but that remaining closed door now absorbs the rest of the probability, holding a 2/3 chance. But right now, your survival instinct is screaming at you. You're looking at 2 closed doors, and every biological impulse you have insists the odds are an even 50-50. It feels physically wrong to believe anything else. That overwhelming feeling of common sense is a cognitive blind spot. Once you step out of the jungle and into a world governed by pure numbers, that blind spot leaves you completely exposed to anyone who knows how to exploit it. There's an entire industry built specifically to monetize that flaw in your reasoning. Step onto a casino floor, and you're entering a highly engineered environment where every game is designed to bypass your logical brain. Take the slot machine. Its physical lever and spinning reels make it feel like a mechanical game. But this physical action is completely separated from mathematical reality. The probability of winning is dictated by fixed internal algorithms, entirely invisible to you. These algorithms are deliberately tuned to deliver near misses. You'll frequently see matching symbols land right next to the jackpot on the payline. Mathematically, a near miss is just a loss, but chemically, it triggers a massive dopamine hit in your brain's reward center, tricking you into feeling like you almost won. This brings us to the invisible house edge. It's a tiny statistical advantage built into every single wager. You might win a hand, but the underlying equation ensures the casino slowly drains your bankroll over time. Table games like Baccarat mask this edge by creating the illusion of momentum. Players carefully track patterns between the player and banker betting zones, convinced they can spot a hot streak. But there is no such thing as a hot table. Every hand is an independent event, completely disconnected from the last. Even sophisticated strategies like card counting eventually fail, because trying to outsmart a statistical system over hours requires absolute perfection. The casino doesn't rely on luck. They know your intuition will falter before their math does. They just let the numbers run. Losing money at a card table is one thing, but this exact same failure to understand probability has a much darker consequence when it infiltrates the systems that determine your freedom and health. In a courtroom, 12 ordinary people are often asked to evaluate complex forensic data. A prosecutor might stand up and confidently announce that the odds of a suspect's DNA randomly matching the crime scene are 1 in a million. Look at the 2 formulas on screen. To the human brain, that statistic sounds like absolute proof of guilt. But this triggers the prosecutor's fallacy. We naturally confuse 2 completely different mathematical questions. The chance of finding this evidence if the suspect is innocent versus the chance the suspect is innocent given this evidence. Watch as we scale this out across a database. If you run a 1 in a million match against millions of profiles, you will mathematically find multiple innocent people who match perfectly. The statistic isolated from its total context is completely meaningless. You might assume this is just a lack of training among juries, but highly educated professionals fall into the exact same trap. Imagine sitting in an examination room. Your doctor looks at your chart and tells you that your routine screening for a rare disease came back positive. They reassure themselves, and you, that the test is 99% accurate. This chart shows what actually happens when you screen 10,000 people for a disease that affects just one person. A 99% accurate test will correctly identify that single sick person, but it will also flag 100 healthy people with false positives. Because the initial pool is so large, it is overwhelmingly likely you are perfectly fine. When we allow our natural biological intuition to interpret raw statistical data, the results are devastating. We send innocent people to prison, we deliver traumatizing diagnoses to entirely healthy patients. We no longer live in the brush, reacting to shifting shadows. Modern society is a massive, interlocking machine. run by invisible statistical algorithms and vast oceans of complex data. We are trying to navigate this rigid, calculated reality using brains that were naturally wired for ancient storytelling and emotional reactions. And whenever human feeling goes head-to-head with mathematical reality, the math will win, every single time. Your only real defense against this systemic exploitation is to learn to recognize the exact moment your intuition kicks in and consciously override it, even when the logic feels entirely wrong. Protecting your bank account, protecting your freedom, and your health doesn't require a degree in advanced calculus. It just requires the deeply uncomfortable act of looking at the numbers and trusting them over your gut.